January 19th, 2021, President Donald J. Trump declassifies all files having to do with Crossfire Hurricane. Yep, the FBI investigation into what we know as Russia. Don't believe me? Here it is. Told you.
They talk about when they're over at the CIA, they say, oh, but I think it's Project Anaconda. And they say, oh, you can't talk about that. It was the Bay of Pigs combined with trying to kill Castro. Crossfire Hurricane elicits that same response in official Washington, D.C.
Speculation, I just want to reread that part. Speculation on the Hill that FBI had personal stake in searching for classified documents related to Spygate scandal, a.k.a. Crossfire Hurricane.
Crossfire Hurricane, when the FBI investigated the Trump campaign before the 2016 election. Well, Donald Trump took some documents about that probe, we think, back to Mar-a-Lago, but he declassified them before he left. We actually have proof that he issued a declassification order. He made an announcement. CBS News, Catherine Herridge, just put this out. And there's been a lot of reporting that the Justice Department refused to declassify it because it would be very embarrassing, of course, to the Justice Department, the FBI, the CIA, Hillary, of course. And that's probably, in my humble opinion, what the feds were looking for. One of the many things they were looking for when they went down and did the raid. These Crossfire Hurricane declassified materials.
The Bureau's counterintelligence division led the 2016-2017 Russia collusion investigation of Trump, codenamed Crossfire Hurricane. So this same group of people did this bullshit investigation that are now doing this. And now we know that they admitted to themselves in text messages, the FBI, that their job was to stop Trump from being president. They've admitted to it. That has been that's been read in an open court in a hearing in front of the Congress. Although the former head of the Crossfire Hurricane, this guy, he was the head of it, and he tweeted out, "We're going to stop Trump." He's the head of the FBI group, and now that same group is investigating Trump again, as they're being investigated for their nefarious shit. He was fired so the guy who was the head of that investigation into Trump's Russian collusion, he got fired after disclosures of his vitriolic anti-Trump tweets. That's when he said, we're going to stop Trump from being president. Several members of his team remain working in the counterintelligence unit, though. The sources say even though they are under active investigation by both Durham and the Bureau's disciplinary arm, the Office of Professional Responsibility. So they're not being investigated just by this guy. They're also being investigated by the FBI is investigating their own people. In addition, and those same people who are being investigated are being allowed to raid a former president's house. In addition, a key member of the Crossfire team, supervisory intelligence analyst Brian Auten, has continued to be involved in politically sensitive investigations, including the ongoing federal probe of potentially incriminating content found on the abandoned laptop of President Biden's son, Hunter Biden. And that's according to recent correspondence between the Senate Judiciary Committee, FBI Director Christopher Wray. So what they're saying is that this guy, a key member of that bullshit team that did all that bullshit around Russiagate, why is he being allowed to not only work on Trump's thing, but he's working on Hunter Biden's laptop?
So this in some ways is worse than Watergate. This is something far worse than occurred in Watergate. This is very different than Watergate and more dangerous in many ways. This could be worse than Watergate. I've said before that what we're seeing is worse than Watergate. So that's the first big difference of why this is worse than Watergate. I think this is a potentially more dangerous situation than Watergate.